everybody, Empress Justice here, and welcome to Empress Justice Daily. Finally, I'm making a video for this channel. I've been lacking on the pick of cards, you know, given everything that's been happening in my life recently. I've really been slacking on the pick of cards. My God, we need some more interactive readings up in here. But in the meantime, I just wanted to tell you about some cards that dropped out whilst I was preparing for August 2024. And this paints a very interesting picture, but before I get into that, I just want to tell you what the cards are, all right? So first we have the Ace of Cups, number 1, Ace of Cups. That's going to be important. And then we have the Fool card, okay? And then we have the 5 of Cups. And then we have the Emperor, number 4. That's going to be important. And then we have the 4 of Swords. And then we have Adjustment, which is the Justice card. So what does all this mean for a timeless reading or for a snapshot reading of this particular moment? What we are being told to prepare for is for us to be organized, motivated, and just. A new phase is going to come into our lives, but as this new phase comes into our lives, because I've hinted at that before, instead of us being rash, instead of us being, you know, hard-headed, we're actually going to be thinking objectively, and we're going to be putting things into an ordered, you know, into an ordered fashion. Everything's going to be in an ordered way. So at the forefront of our minds, as this new phase develops, we're going to be more organized, more fair. We're going to have stricter boundaries, and we are going to allow ourselves greater freedom at the same time because we have that underlying structure in place. Now, let me read about the other cards. There is usually a new feeling that comes with a new phase of life, but it's actually backwards this time. For many of us, it's going to be a new feeling, a new emotional state, followed by a new phase of our lives, right? Usually it's the other way around. Usually we have the new phase first and then we have the feeling, but it's like we're feeling a premonition of what's to come, and everything's up in the air. There's hope, there's despair, there's all kinds of different emotions in the mix. There's hope, there's despair, there's excitement, there's fear, there's anxiety, there's readiness, there's all kinds of emotions up in the mix together. But when the new phase actually starts, we are immediately going to be met with disappointments. Things will not pan out the way that we want them to. At the same time though, this disappointment doesn't spring a depressive phase. Instead, it brings us to action. It makes us realize, okay, I'm disappointed that this thing didn't happen. I'm disappointed that it didn't pan out the way that I wanted to. But instead of me feeling despondent about it, how can I fix it? How can I make it better? And with this, with the 4 of Swords, it usually means rest or recuperation. But really, it's a calm and relaxed mind. It's a calm and relaxed mind. On the surface, we're going to be very busy. We're going to have a lot to do. But deep beneath the surface, there's a sense of calm there. And I think the reason why there's a sense of calm is because there is a sense of purpose. We know exactly what we want to do, and we know exactly why we're doing it. So there's a sense of calm that comes about for many of us during this time or in the near future. And with this, how do I describe this? I did say to you several times during this year that positions of power would shift, but it shifts in the weirdest ways. It shifts in the weirdest ways because it shifts in the weirdest ways. Because the reason I say that is because a lot of people are going to find that the roles are going to be reversed. But there are some of us who can't cope with the role reversal, and some of us that absolutely can cope with the role reversal. Partially because some of us have integrity, and partially because some of us who are on the losing side are about to be on the winning side. Like I said before, like I get pretty much a lot of my readings say the same thing, but with this, you're talking about the aftermath of the moon, not the moon, but Mars and Uranus. You're talking about the aftermath of the Mars-Uranus transit alignment here. So this is a big moment for many people here. And with that big moment comes a reversal in power. It comes a shift in power. Again, it's not going to manifest the way that we think it will, because the circumstances, it's like, how do I put this? It's like the same things. It's like, how do I put this? It's like we get the same things that we made others experience, both good and bad, by the way. It's not just negative, it's positive as well. We get the same thing that we made other people experience, but it comes about in a different way, which means that instead of empathizing with how we made other people feel, we instead find our own ways to cope with what's going on. We find our own ways to deal with it. And my suggestion is that instead of doing that, that we actually need to learn a lesson, and we actually need to learn how to adapt to the new situation that we are in. We need to put aside our pride and kind of find a new way of doing things. I feel like we are getting a reminder that we can't do the same things in the same way anymore, because number 4 is not just about stability, it's also about upheaval. It's the upheaval before the stability. It's bringing down the old world before building a new one. So we have to kind of find new ways of being and adapt a little bit of the other side to what we do. It's a weird thing to contemplate, but we have to learn to incorporate the little bit of the other side of the equation into what we do. That's how we survive. You either adapt or you die. So what this reading is telling us is that if there are certain disappointments in our lives that are panning out, we really need to think carefully about what lessons can we learn from those who are different to us, essentially. What lessons can we learn from them? Whatever lessons we learn from them is how we can move forward properly and how we can actually win the day. We're not going to win, though, if we keep doing the same stuff. It just isn't going to pan out like that. Let's see what else I can get. I'm going to bring out some Rider-Waite briefly, because I've got the third quarter in Ashwini to do. So before I end this reading, I'm just going to bring up, how many cards? 3? I'm going to bring up 3 cards from the Rider-Waite to clarify the situation. Fool card, newness, Mars, Uranus. Newness is brought about through shocking or violent means. The King of Cups, Ace, 5, King. There's a level of emotional maturity that comes about, which explains why we're more likely to be organized rather than be depressed about what's gone wrong. And with this, we're activated. We become activated. The things that we are most passionate about become a vehicle upon which we springboard things that truly mean something to us. Like, for instance, if you're like a banker or something, but you feel like the banking system is corrupt, then you'll kind of use your knowledge to kind of get out there in the world and say, look, the banking system is corrupt. We need to do this, that, and the third. So this is like not a great example, but as an example of you using what you're really, really good at in order to stand up for something that really means something to you. There are a lot of people who are going to be doing that now. A lot of people who are going to be doing that. So whilst that's happening, it will lead to some conflict, But the thing about this kind of open level conflict is that it's usually deep down, it's not malicious. It's not personal. It's just survival. But be prepared for a lot more conflict as we kind of, we become more concrete in who we are by using what we're passionate about in order to fight for it. This comes into this too, because it's about making things fair and making things just, and leading with objectivity and moving with objectivity, moving with grace, moving with a certain amount of dignity. And dignity isn't really about, only caring about yourself or only caring about others. It's about caring about others in a way that does not infringe on your well-being. That's what dignity is. And it's also about not doing anything that isn't worthy of you. So there's going to be a lot of that too. There is going to be a lot of dignity among the people that I'm reading for anyway. There's a sense of dignity there. It's not the same anymore. It's not like people are just going to be going out and hating for no reason, or doing, like, anyone who's undignified, anyone who's undisciplined, they're going to fall by the wayside. So if you really want to be in them numbers, you've got to be disciplined, and you've got to be fair, and you've got to be objective, and you've got to use your passion to fight for something important. Now, that's it for the impromptu reading for Empress Justice Daily. I will see you on Empress Justice Tarot for the 3rd quarter moon in Ashwini. I love you guys so much. Peace and blessings. Bye bye, my darlings.